All right, good morning. Tip off recording here for you a little early, but I wanted to get it done so I can get to bed. It's 4 a.m. Actually, 4:14 to be exact. We have just arrived in Denver. So this is about as tough back to back as the guys get, and I'll do the research tomorrow, but just a quick check around the league. To me, every time someone's done a back to back, they've gotten throttled this year. Obviously, the Lakers were the other side of that story as they got us last night. But I think the back to backs are something you prepare for and you get used to in the preseason. You get your body used to, and the guys aren't there right now. So that was not a great start to the NBA season. I think to me, wins are going to be hard to come by this year. I've felt that way the whole way, and I mean I can break it down to you in a really simplistic manner. But if you just look at our starting five and rank them where they are in the NBA right now, they're Devon's, at best middle of the pack, and Rogers in the bottom half, and Gordon not based on potential, but where he is right now is probably on the bottom half, and Derek is on the bottom half, and then Al is, Al's still just a great mystery. We saw all the negatives again last night, where if he's got a matchup where uh, they believe that a guy can guard him, then they don't double team him, and nobody else gets free because of him. And he obviously had one of the worst shooting nights of his life, and really had one of the 5 or 6 worst in Jazz history. Uh, Brian Russell twice on occasions. I think we looked it up. It's on Locked On Jazz. Was one of 16. Carl had one or two of them. Thurl had a few of them. And AK, but 2 of 16 is a night we won't see out of Al very often. And that was as much the issue as anything last night. More than Sorry, I got to fix one thing over here. More than you kind of can look at when he's not hitting those shots, and so much of the offense is running there, and then transition defense goes the other way. Cantor really can rebound. We saw that. Favors makes plays simply with athleticism, and Gordon's got to find a way to impact the game, and that's probably going to come down to them putting the ball in his hands, because that's what he does well. Comes off that high pick and roll, gets in the paint, makes plays. I thought it was evident that the Lakers have played more games than the Jazz. I think maybe that may be a big deal. They were playing their fifth game. Jazz were just playing their third. But I think things are going to be rough this year. That's the reality of where this roster is. It's a starless team. Stars win this league. You're trying to develop some stars, and hopefully they're able to do that. And nights like tonight where Cantor struggles, but he plays that hard, gets 20 minutes. I think that's a good thing. Favors played hard. He had 2 stupid fouls. Hopefully you don't see those same fouls again. That's the learning process each and every night. So Burks got a tutorial. He did not have a particularly good first outing. Soft going to a ball, and then Kobe beat him on something, and then he went after one-on-one play with Kobe and it didn't work. But he's also going up against Kobe. Let me hit some of the lock tip-off questions. Apologize. I'm trying to keep my voice down a little bit here since I don't want to be waking people up. So let me run through a bunch of these things. What do you think the Jazz record will be? What do you pick? I'm not going to make an observation off one night of what the record's going to be. I think wins are going to be hard to come by. When I was walking in LA, I said to David James the other day, I have a scenario where I think they end up with arguably with the worst record in the league. I mean, and the basis on that would be that there is a chance that Sacramento, Minnesota are right, in Utah are a similar position because the schedule's unbalanced. We don't play the Charlottes and the Detroits and the New Jerseys and the teams that are terrible in the East as much. And so therefore, you actually may not be the worst team in the league, but you end up with the worst record, which would be, frankly, at that point, you get the best pick in a great draft. So I don't know. But I do think wins are going to be hard to come by. The thing I'm watching this year is what I don't like is falling behind by 15 or more, because I think it stunts the development of the players. And to me, that's as much of an issue as anything else. Wins are not as important. Competitive minutes are. And, they fell behind by 15 with 10:50 left in the third quarter and never got back with inside of it. And so to some extent, I could make an argument we only had 26 competitive minutes. Some of these are absurd, but I get it. You're kind of lost on a night like that trying to figure it out. Coach Corbin's substitution patterns seem really random. I actually totally disagree with you. That comes from J32 Jam. I thought his substitution patterns were really clear. He had a first team and a second team. That's how he's playing it right now. The second team was Watson, Howard, Miles, Millsap, and Cantor. That group played together. But then late in the game, he just let guys play. So I actually totally disagree with you. Is there any reason other than upsetting the fans that Jazz shouldn't tank the season for the number one pick? Yeah, because you don't want to get a culture of losing. And that's why if you play like Cantor did last night and you get those minutes and you play that hard, then that's all right. And then he's learning, he's busting his butt, he's really working at it, and you're playing the game the right way. And then if you lose, that's fine. But you can't just have guys out there and tank it with accepting losing and then expect it to not have a residual impact on your franchise. This one comes from Utah Jazz V4 WT or T, well FTW. Wow, that's totally dyslexia at its worst moment right there. Cantor may be our most consistent player. Love the effort, rebounds, but before draft, vertical worries. Can it improve? I don't know if his vertical is ever going to improve a great deal. He's going to be a 10 rebound guy in the NBA. That's why I said when I did the scouting report of him, if he's a 10 rebound guy in the NBA, he's going to be a double-double guy. Somebody tweeted me that he's going to be a 20-10 guy. He's just going to be 10-20, which isn't the craziest thing actually after watching him. But he's going to learn how to use his body and how to finish. But I don't think he's going to be going up and powering it down the way Derek Favors is capable of doing. He doesn't have that skill set right now. He is 19, so some of that can change. But there was a play early in the game where he got it underneath, and Gasol, he missed, and then missed a second time. In a month, he finishes that shot. Maybe in 2 months, he finishes that shot. He's going to figure out what he can do with his body, where he can move people. I thought the bigger issue was that he moved Gasol out of the way, got the shot off. Now he's going to have to figure out where that's coming from. Jefferson's not going to, which was more surprising from Dave Fish 17, a constant lock tip-off question guy. Which was more surprising, Cantor's 17 boards or Jefferson not going to line? If Al doesn't go to line, he's just not a good offensive player. I mean, it's just... He doesn't shoot a high enough percentage to be efficient if he doesn't ever go to the free throw line. He's got to go to the free throw line. But we highlighted in the broadcast, we highlighted on my prep sheets, if you read those, that the matchup with Gasol was a bad one. The matchup with Nene, he's been fine. He's shooting, I'll have it for you, I'll post it as tomorrow at some point. But it's good. I did that on the plane tonight. And so, there's the difference. The matchup with Gasol, though, was a bad one. A really, really bad one for Al, and that makes it tough on the team. Will Harris and Al be traded for cap relief for picks if this team gets off to an awful start to develop young players? Well, you have to bring players back, and there's a minimum salary that you have to have, and the Jazz are closer to it than you think. So I don't see that scenario going on. The question is, does somebody see, if you're – well, I don't really see Al or Devin preventing guys from getting playing time right now. I mean, Favors prevented himself from getting playing time last night. So I can see both those players getting moved. I think it's questionable whether either of them are part of the future combination. One game is not going to make that decision for me. Again, I'm trying not to. Let's not forget this was should be the third preseason game. Third preseason game. 3 weeks into camp. That's where we should be in this process and no further. Is Coach Corbin in danger? No, that's stupid. Does the offense fit the personnel, specifically Harris and Jefferson? I think there's some Harris on the high pick and roll stuff. That's his game. He's got to find a way to dish. Watching Al tonight, it's hard to get that out of your mind, but you got to figure out what offense does fit Al and what it is. Al's got to be so dominating in that post, going to the free throw line, forcing guys into foul trouble, that it forces double teams. Right now, nobody double teams him or people don't double team as much because he doesn't shoot a high enough percentage, but moreover, he's not putting anybody in foul trouble. And so he's got to put people in foul trouble if he puts people in foul trouble, then people will bring the double team to protect their guy so he doesn't get in foul trouble. And I think that's as big as anything. The offense at time looked like the old Jazz offense. Does this team need to be more run and gun? I think it's going to be more run and gun, but it is the Jazz offense, and they clearly haven't worked on it a great deal because they were working on all the defensive changes and trying to become a defensive-minded team. And frankly, they were pretty good defensively. Um, so I think that they had a pretty good to hold a team to 43% shooting while you shoot 30% is pretty hard to do. So I think they did a lot of good things on the defensive end in this ballgame. All right, that wraps it up. I'm going to bed. It's 4:24 now. I hope you enjoy this tip-off. Sorry I didn't want to be screaming and yelling. Hopefully I didn't too low energy it. And I'll have prep notes up for you, all that regular stuff today throughout the day. So have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being Jazz fans. Appreciate your passion. It's going to be a rocky year. Hopefully there'll be some really good nights. We'll see some really fun development. And I'm pretty certain they'll be better than they were this evening. See ya.